So I'm Baron Ernst. I'm the Chief Product Officer for Showmax. Showmax is a Naspers company, and what we're focused on is bringing streaming video to a number of markets around the world. The biggest markets we focus on are South Africa, Kenya, and Poland. And today we're going to talk a bit about our entry into the Polish market and things we've learned working in that market. One of the big reasons we were really interested in Poland is that it's a market that's pretty large when it comes to European markets. It's almost 40 million people. And for many people, they don't think of it in the same way that they might think of markets like Germany or France. But from a population perspective, it's quite large, which is really nice. Secondarily, has really good, really fast internet, quite a lot of mobile devices, and a lot of people who are very interested in being able to access streaming or access video on those devices or on their computers at home. And I think the other big reason for us was that when we looked at the market, what we realized was there wasn't a dominant player in the market. Netflix hadn't really entered, or they were kind of small in the market, and no one was doing a good job of bringing local Polish content to local consumers. The majority of people are consuming content still from cable TV companies or from other markets. So for us, it had really good infrastructure for internet, had a lot of people interested in streaming, a good sized population, but no one was delivering that content and that service that we thought we could bring to the market. I think the thing that we've seen with the market is, one, there's a lot of people with good tech skill sets in Poland. So people who both understand kind of old school marketing, but now understand digital marketing, digital trends, but then good engineers, good people who are really interested in that space. I think two, what I talked about earlier with the broad adoption of internet has been really important. It means that there's a lot of people who understand kind of the cutting edge technology. It means that you can recruit really strong technical talent and really strong product and marketing talent. And I think there's also quite a high interest in adopting the latest tech trends and the latest things. And I think that leads to a lot of people who, are gaining a lot of skills quite quickly. There's a lot of opportunities for growth within the market, a lot of people who can be hired who have a lot of technical skills. And I think that's what really helps with the economy growing quickly and people having more ability to purchase, more skills to deliver to other economies. I think that, one big thing for us has been, Polish they have a very particular culture around how they do media. A lot of Polish media has built largely from local people. So the head of our Polish part of our company is, a former broadcaster. He understands kind of what appeals to Polish people, and in many cases it's kind of very different. There are different trends that exist within that market, given kind of the history of Poland versus the history of other markets in the world. And for people like myself from the United States, it's hard to really understand that. And so it's really helpful to have a local team that really kind of gets that. But I think the other big things from a media perspective are, one, as I said before, there's a lot of interest in kind of supporting local directors, local content producers in this market. So one of the big things we've done is we've partnered with a variety of kind of well-known but local directors, Patrick Vega, who's done a lot of our original series, and others. And what that's really done for us is it's made Showmax not be another product bringing Hollywood content to Poland, but it instead has made it where Showmax is bringing a mix of Hollywood, but then it is also lifting up local Polish directors and bringing their content and making it popular. And for a lot of the locals, that's really powerful. So we do a lot of stuff with, Polish originals in Polish, no subtitles, and the idea is that right away they're like, this is Polish content that I'm excited to view, and for users and for people in the market, it's something that gets them excited. As long as you're doing kind of good, fairly modern design, that's worked pretty well. And then just having a good understanding of what devices people are using. One other thing that we have seen when we look at Poland is that there are still more kind of desktop laptop types of users in that market than in some other markets in the region. So mobile adoption is really high, but you still see quite a number of people accessing our product through their web browser on their laptop or on their PC at home. And given that, you definitely need to have a mobile first design philosophy, but if you're neglecting your overall website design, you are going to lose some customers that way. So one of the big things we've done in Poland is we do price locally. So we do think about putting prices in the local currency. A lot of our competitors keep their pricing in US dollars. We've tried to think about what would someone feel is a fair price to pay within the local currency. So we priced it right around 1990 zloty, which is the equivalent of about $5. But to someone, sort of a 20 zloty note has sort of a significant value, and it's like, you can buy a coffee for 20 zloty type of idea. So the idea from that was we could easily market around the idea that, for the same price as a coffee, you can get Showmax on a monthly basis. And that gives us sort of some local pricing power where people understand immediately the value they're getting versus having to do dollar translations. We've done some work with local YouTube people that did this show called Ucho Procesa, which was a satire of the kind of local political situation in Poland, which was very popular on YouTube. And then we started to air it early on Showmax, and that was one of our original titles that got us a lot of initial traction. We've worked, as I said, with Patrick Vega. A lot of his titles tend to be dark crime type of dramas, can be fairly graphic. That seems to do quite well with the local folks. And then we've also done some really kind of interesting animation projects. So one of them is called Igorcista, and it's a show about a guy who is a repairman, actually like a bricklayer by day, and at night he is an exorcist, and his main competitor is a local priest. But it's all animated, and it's by a local animator who is very well known on YouTube. So I guess some of the trends are there's some religion, there's some dark crime mixed in. It's quite interesting, but that seems to be the content that has done really well for us locally in the market. What we've learned are a few things. One, Poland can be a little bit different than some other markets in that where in some other markets you might see like there's one or two major cities and then kind of the rest of the country is more provincial. Poland is more spread out. There's kind of 8 major cities in Poland, or 8 major metropolitan areas, and you need to think about how you're going to work well within each one. Warsaw is, I believe, the largest or second largest, but then there's others that are all within a similar range. I think the metropolitans range from 1 million to 3 million, and there's 8 of them. So you actually have to think about how you're going to market strategically versus just having one central area you're going to think about. Additionally, it's a big country, and so there are some regional differences. I don't think we've done a great job of accounting for it, but it's a big enough country where if you get really ingrained on, say, the e-commerce or the other side, you would have to start to consider those different elements. And I think what I said before is really true around the language. The language is, it does present some interesting challenges when you're designing or when you're thinking about the product that you're building, just because it is such a different language, especially for those of us who are kind of native English speakers. You do have to sort of think about how to properly design for it, how to build the right product for it that delivers for that customer. I think for us, the biggest thing has been there's a lot of markets out there that there's an opportunity to bring local content where people may not have it right now. So for example, I think there's a lot of other markets in CE and a lot of other markets around the world where Netflix and others are available in that market, but no one is doing a good job of bringing the local content that customers want from local directors, from local content producers. And I think there's a lot of unique opportunities for people to do that. I think fundamentally, the world, as it kind of, as more tech happens, that the world is in theory getting, broader and you can see more things, but people like to remember like, hey, I am a person from Poland, I'm a person from somewhere else, and they speak my language and I can understand what they're saying, and content is produced for me, it's not just produced for literally everyone. and they're telling my stories. And so I think that for us has been powerful, is trying to tell the local stories that people know in their language, I think is really important. And I think as you look at other markets, that's something that we hope to take and learn in other markets as well.